Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Um, yes, I'm going to talk about first thing is about these gloves that's in the title, but I just want to let you know that honestly, I have been very ill for about 4 or 5 days, and now it's been lingering. So the whole thing's been about 10 days now since the last video, I think. I have not been up to par. Now is left is just I don't have quite any energy, and I still have that Dayquil days where I've been taking a lot of Dayquil. Anyway, needless to say, you know who really took care of me during this time period. Just a wonderful lady. And now she's in bed. She's not feeling very well. So now I have to take care of her. So I've been well distracted for the last week and a half. So anyway, on to the gloves. The reason I wanted to bring this up, something I was thinking about, is earlier this year, you know who was doing gardening, and she didn't have any leather gloves. Sometimes they're nice to have for pulling some plants. So I have a new pair that I got less than 10 years ago that are really in excellent shape. I kind of didn't want to give them to her because of what she was doing. They're going to make a mess of them. So I dug around in my drawer and I found my old gloves. But they were so hard and wrinkly. They'd been shoved into a drawer, were all wadded up. When you take them out, you couldn't even get them really straightened out hardly at all. And I finally got them on, but there's no way you could use it because they were so dried out. Anyway, so I thought, well, there must be a way to soften that leather back up. So I got online and I started looking about it. And lo and behold, yeah, there's a lot of products out there that you can buy to help revive your gloves and use on it. But what struck me is that there was one, well, actually, I think I saw two different videos about it, where they just use good old-fashioned Vaseline. Most of the product ones, there was a couple of them that mentioned that the Vaseline wouldn't do as good a job, but I thought, I have Vaseline, I had these gloves, let's just do this rather than going out and waiting until I can buy some. So, to use the Vaseline, all you have to do is put them on your hands, both hands, open up your Vaseline, dig out some, and then just start smearing it on both gloves until you get it everywhere you can. No globs anywhere, but rubbed in somewhat. Then when you get done, you take both off and stick them up to where they can air out all the way around for about 12 to 24 hours. And that's what I did. After that time period, put them back on, get yourself a paper towel or two, and wipe them off real good with a paper towel. And you're done. And I cannot believe how these gloves came back to life. These things, like I said, these things were my workhorse. I used them for 35 years. And then when I got done, I just threw them in the drawer, and they were so dried up, but they're working as good as they did the day I put them away. Anyway, so I've been letting her use them. She says they work really great. She likes them. But what's funny is I only had to use Vaseline really to get these things going. I did not know Vaseline would work that well on leather, but it does. So if you have some old leather gloves and you want to bring them back to life, now I have to tell you, I am quite impressed with these gloves, and I still can't believe that they're 45 years old now, because they're pretty much wore out and they look like hell, but they're still they work just as well as the day I bought them. And just so you know, what I liked about these gloves and why they lasted me so long, why I used it for so long, instead of getting tired of them, around here in Midwest United States, you get 4 seasons. And they could be anywhere from minus 20 to 110 degrees out, quite frankly, at any given moment. So having just one pair of gloves can be a real pain when you think about it, because in the summer, you don't want anything real thick. And that was what I really liked, is using in the summer. But when winter came around, I figured out real quick that these didn't work very well in the cold. Your hands would freeze to death inside these leather gloves. But then I came up with this harebrained idea, or somebody may have told me, I don't remember. It's been 40 plus years. I learned that you can take these little brown jerseys gloves. They're just cloth, very soft, but you can buy them. They're like $1 a pair. You buy them in packs of 10 or more. And I've probably been through 1,000 of these things in my lifetime. But I learned that if I want to use these gloves in the summer, I use them like this. If I want to use them in the winter, all I do is I just take these simple jersey gloves, I put it on, and I would take these gloves here, and now I will take and put that glove on over these jerseys, like so. And now I have a nice thick glove that's still very mobile, but I also stay very warm in the very cold weather. These things were very durable, and so I was using these things year round for that 35 years, nonstop basically, whenever I was working. And so that was the thing I liked about it. And then now that it has a jersey in it to take it on and off, I just make sure I grab the fingers and grab both gloves at the same time, pinching, so when I take it on and off, I pull it on from the cuff of the jersey, and I take it off by pulling it by the fingers all the way off, and it stays in there until I'm ready to take it out. And when spring rolls around, I just take the tips of my fingers, take the jersey glove, and now I'm back to using it in summer mode. So in my vehicle, when I used to work out and about, I would keep these in the vehicle, and I kept at least one pair of these in there, so that if it's turned cold, I would just put these in there real quick, and I just keep going using the same gloves. So I use these things year round for 35 years. I can't believe they are still there. Now, don't get me wrong, they're pretty much worn. It has a reinforcement across the palm, which really has held up well. The stitching is amazingly, and nothing wrong with it anywhere. But it's getting very thin finally on the fingers and on the thumb. It feels pretty thin. So, yeah, I need a new pair, but with what she's been doing with them, these are more than adequate rather than buying a new pair. But if you ever want to buy a good pair of work gloves and use them year-round, a good pair of simple leather, full leather gloves, and then get yourself some inexpensive jerseys and put them together, and you can have a year-round glove without any problem. Cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Anyway, enough about that. I do want to tell you real quick here about us being ill. This is more like it been the flu than actually being ill. It just, and I could just, with me, obviously, it always affects my breathing because I have COPD. So, yeah, I did. But she's not having any effect on her breathing on this at all. Even though she's just like I've been, just really feeling cruddy. So, but what's funny about it is that the 2 days before I got sick, we went out on an electric trolley field trip, or whatever you want to call it. It was this ride. It's one of the last electric trolleys here in Wisconsin. It's up in East Troy. It used to go all the way to Milwaukee, but it's only about 8 or 10 miles long now, I think. And it takes you about an hour and a half to do a round trip on it. And the tickets were pretty reasonable, so we thought, we hadn't done anything for a while. Let's go do that. Sounds like fun. And we thought that during the week, it wouldn't be a problem. But, boy, was I wrong. It was actually a full car, one car, one operator, and the car went all the way down and came all the way back, and they pointed out landmarks while they were traveling down that whole way. It was really interesting. It was worth the money. But unfortunately, I think that it being out in public for the first time since before the pandemic of any real substance. I mean, we go to the store or stuff once in a while, but we really we're close to people sitting on. It's like sitting on a bus, on a city bus with everybody else around you. It's that kind of proximity to other people. And lo and behold, if we didn't come home and get sick, who would know? So it's kind of discouraging wanting to get out and go places and do things. Like we used to before the pandemic. We used to go out and go on those kind of field trips all the time to the zoo, and we went to a bison farm one time and things like that. It's really very interesting to do those things, and we enjoy doing them. But this is the first one. Can't believe we actually got sick. Anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you because it's been quite a while since I had a video. I'm still not really up to par, but hopefully in the next day or so, I'm still going to try to come out with that. I'm going to do 2 videos on the bandsaw series. I want to do one on design, how to design your box and making your own style. And we'll talk about that a little bit, how to understand the different styles that are out there now. So I think it'll be very interesting if you really want to get into bandsaw making. We'll talk about templates, and then I'll probably do a video on the flocking alone and how I do my flocking in my small shop. Because I think it's worked out pretty well for me, and I think that if you own a small, unless you're in a high production shop where you have a dedicated booth and all that, doing the flocking really can be a mess. And I'll show you some tips that I've learned over the years. So I got those 2 videos coming up. I also want to tell you that I want to do a video. I've been thinking about this and I saw it today, so I got to talk about it. You know me, and when I start thinking about it, the person that was on the video, I watch him all the time. I've been a subscriber of his for a very long time. I didn't say anything to him, but he was so wrong about so many things when it comes to air filtration. I was just astounded to listen to him. Now, first thing, and I really want to get into details, I want to show you that most people are doing their air filtration totally wrong in their shops, in my opinion. And I can explain it to you, which I will, and I'll show you how I had set up mine, and that's why I know how well it works and what you have to do in order to be really safe with having clean air in a shop and not have to breathe that sawdust and what it takes. And it's not that complicated. You don't need a ton of expensive air filtration system or anything like that. So we're going to get into that too pretty quick. I'm really anxious to talk about it. I may even do that before I do the last 2 ones on the bandsaw. If you have a preference of those 2, which way to go, let me know, and I'll pay attention to what you guys want. But those are the things I'm kind of be doing over the next 2 or 3 videos, unless something else comes up. I also want to go back and talk a little bit more about Ryobi and using the Ryobi battery to charge up other power stations, by using the Ryobi batteries back and forth, so that I can plug a power station in somewhere and leave it there. Rather than having to unplug it to take it to recharge it, I can bring the Ryobi batteries to it, plug them in, and charge it back up, and then take those Ryobi batteries and recharge them. So I have some plans on that, and I want to tell you where I'm at with that. I think you'll find that very interesting. So if you have any questions about any of this, let me know. Also, I had a comment the other day, and I was thinking about this. If you haven't watched my video on the circle cutting jig on the bandsaw, just do circle cutting jig on my channel, and you'll find the one where I did on the bandsaw to make my own jig. It's different than anybody else's you've ever seen out there, and it's so easy to make, and it will last you for a very, very long time. And you can do any size hole you want, but there's no moving parts in it. So it's an interesting concept of how to do a circle jig on the bandsaw, which is my go-to place when I want to cut out circles. I found it to be the easiest and give me the cleanest circle when I do it. So anyway, if you haven't seen that, just a suggestion, you might want to go see that one and see what you think. I'd love to hear your comments on it if you do. But it's so easy to make, and then I've had mine now for 2 or 3 years, and ever since I made it, it's really been a very good one. So, and somebody made a comment the other day, so I got me thinking about it. I really haven't heard anybody talking about that one in a long time. So anyway, if you would like, take a look at it, tell me what you think. So I think that's about it. I'm about worn out anyway, because I still got to go check on you-know-who, because I've been checking on her every hour or so in the house, because she's, other than when she got up when we had lunch, she's been laying in bed all day, which is not her at all. So I'm sure everybody will be fine. I'm getting better and better every day, so I can hardly wait till tomorrow. But I think she'll be over this too pretty quickly, hopefully. So, and we'll be back to normal, fighting amongst ourselves and having a good time. So anyway, any thoughts, any ideas, or if you want to talk about something else in particular, just leave it in the comments. I enjoy reading them all. If you learned something here or you like this video, hit that like button. Lets me know I'm doing something right. Most importantly though, if you would please, come back again because I'm nowhere near done. Thanks. And we'll see you guys again very soon.